All right, guys, we are back. We're going to start on chapter 6 today in your consumer math books. So that's going to be on page number 136. I passed out the test before we cut out to Thanksgiving break early. That's going to be a take-home test. If you have not gotten that test, make sure you email me, let me know. I can send you a digital copy of it. You can print it off, get it done. You're going to turn that in to me on Monday when we get back in from distance learning. So just hang on to it for right now. Turn it in on Monday. If you're a normal distance learner, go ahead, fill it out, and then email it back to me, and I will get that graded for you guys once I get it back in my email. Again, we're going to be on page number 136 in your consumer math books. We're going to be talking about buying food. This whole chapter, chapter 6, is going to be covering food. Okay, some of you, it's your favorite topic to cover. Okay, buying food. Nowadays, there's tons of places you can go to buy food. I mean, just in our area alone, we have Aldi, we have Walmart, we have Albertsons, we have Stater Brothers. We have the grocery outlet. You can even go buy food at some of the dollar stores or gas stations, or there's even small mom and pop markets if you go down into the east side of Banning area. Okay, so there are a lot of different places to buy food. This is basically talking about grocery shopping, and it has here on page 136 some tips for grocery shopping. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure you make a list of the things you're going to get. Okay, the last thing you want to do is go into a grocery store hungry without a list. Okay, if you're going to go grocery shopping for your week, you're going to want to make sure you have a list, because if you don't have a list and you go in hungry, statistics show that you're going to spend more money if you don't have a list than if you do have a list. And if you're on a budget, you definitely want to do it, because you want to make sure you're only spending the amount of money you budgeted. Okay, so throughout the week, you're going to want to keep a memo pad handy. Nowadays, a lot of people will use their phones. You can put a memo on your phone. Hey, we need trash bags. Hey, I need to pick up bread. I need to get milk this week. I need to go get eggs. Okay, plan out your menu for your week before you go shopping. Okay, plan out, okay, it's Sunday, I'm going to do grocery shopping for this week. What am I going to have for dinner on Monday? What am I going to have for dinner on Thursday? Plan that out when you're doing grocery shopping, so when it comes time for you to make that meal, number one, you're not wondering, what am I going to make tonight for dinner? But also, number two, do I have everything that I need? So make sure you do that and figure out what's going to be on your grocery list. It says here on number 3, resist special displays put in front of stuff to draw your eye so that you buy more. Okay, resist special display items intended for spur of the moment buying. Okay, people have spent tons and tons and tons of money on marketing to figure out colors that will appeal to you, placement of where it appeals to you, what exactly the wording should be on a sign. Grocery stores spend millions of dollars on exactly that to figure out how to get you to buy more things. So if you have a grocery list and you can avoid those special sections that are put out there just so you can buy spur of the moment, say, oh, that looks good. If you notice, when you go into Stater Brothers, the very first thing you go through, you see when you go into the Stater Brothers right down here off of Highland Springs, is the very first thing when you go through that door is a display for Krispy Kreme donuts. That's a spur of the moment thing. They're trying to entice you to buy those. Or if you go over the one on Oak Valley Parkway, that display is right at the cash register, so you can look and see, oh, that looks good, throw in the cart, and then go check out. Buy several sale items if you can. Use them before they spoil. Okay, if an item is on sale and it's a really good deal, buy as much as you can of that item that you're going to use before it spoils. A good example would be meat. Okay, sometimes you can go to the butcher's counter and get a really good deal on some meat. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get as much as you can of that and then maybe freeze it, vacuum pack it, seal it. Only get what you're going to use, though. You don't want to buy a whole bunch of meat and then all of a sudden have it go spoil, go bad on you, and then you've just wasted money you have to throw in the trash can. So you're going to want to use what you buy, but buy everything you're going to use. Look on the bottom and top shelves, since most expensive items are placed at eye level. So you're going to want to look at the top shelves and the bottom shelves because, like I said, businesses and supermarkets spent millions of dollars to figure out exactly where to place the item to get you to buy it. Okay? So you might have the name brand item right at eye level, and below it is going to be the generic brand. Okay? Or right above it might be the generic brand. Check newspaper advertisements, okay? You're not so much now, but every week we used to have newspaper ads go out. They'd come on Saturday with the new grocery ads for the whole week. Okay, there's apps on your phone that you can get that show you those grocery ads, telling you what's going to be on sale at the store for that week. Number 7, shop at more than one store unless going to that store costs more than the time it would take. Okay? So, I'm sure you guys have all heard the expression, time is money. Okay? What that's saying is, if you can afford to do it and not waste too much time, you should go to multiple stores to do your grocery shopping. Okay? For instance, we do our grocery shopping about once a week. We normally go to Walmart, and then we just started going back to Aldi. Okay? My wife and I, one week, decided to sit down and figure out our grocery bills and see how much we saved by going to Aldi as opposed to just going to Walmart. Well, when we figured it out, we actually found out that we can save ourselves between $20 and $30 if we have time to go shop at Aldi that week rather than just going to Walmart. Now, the thing about going to Walmart is very convenient because we could do grocery store pickup, and they take the groceries right out to our car, and we just get it done within 20 minutes and be done with it. But if we have the time, going to Aldi and then going to Walmart actually saves us quite a bit of money. So, going to multiple stores can save you money if you have the time to do it. If you don't have the time to do it, then just do what you have the time to do. Read labels, check unit price. Okay, going to Walmart, especially using the Walmart app, they're very good at showing you the unit price. Okay, price per ounce, price per pound. Okay, because you might say, well, I only need a half gallon of milk, not a whole gallon of milk. Well, a whole gallon of milk will last you almost 2 weeks. A half gallon of milk will only be 1 week, but if you look at the unit price, a half gallon of milk is $2.39. A whole gallon of milk is $3. So you're getting you're getting more, double, for less than double the price. So check the unit price. Be sure the cashier charges the correct amount. Okay, now, depending on what store you go to, sometimes you're the one ringing it up yourselves, especially if you go to Walmart, self-checkout. But make sure that when your cashier is ringing you up to check you out, that those prices that you saw match up with what actually comes up. There have been multiple times where it will ring up more expensive than what it actually is. If it does, you just need to say something and they'll check on it for you. Never shop when you're hungry. Like I said before, never shop when you're hungry. When you do that, you're typically going to spend more money doing that because, oh, this looks good. Oh, I haven't had Oreos in a while. Those look really good. Okay? Make sure you never shop when you're hungry. Make sure you always have a list. Okay? So, those are typical some tips for grocery shopping. That is 6.1. Your homework for tonight is going to be page 139, 11 through 23. page 139, 11 through 23. This is basically just figuring out food budgets and stuff like that. So we've already covered a lot of that stuff. Email me, let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, we're going to be done for today. We're going to cover 6.2 tomorrow. And that covers unit price. All right, hope to see you guys on here tomorrow, and we'll see you in person on Monday.
guys, we were having technical difficulties, so hopefully you guys can hear me now, but make sure you comment your name that you are here for this class. But I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving break. I'm sorry that we are distant learning this week, but hopefully we'll be back by next week. But go ahead and comment your name. Yeah, sorry, Kylie, we were having technical difficulties, so we were trying to figure that out. But hopefully I got everything figured out. But yeah, go ahead and comment your name so that I can mark you present. And then we will go ahead and get started. So last week, actually not last week, but 2 weeks ago, obviously the week before Thanksgiving, we were supposed to have a review test over literature. So that'll be moved to this Friday, so make sure that you are continuing on reviewing your units 1 through 3. We'll go over that in a second, but go ahead and take out your vocabulary books. We're going to start with vocab. Okay, and then go ahead and turn to page number, sorry, give me 1 second. Page number 32, okay, page 32, list number 4. Okay, page 32, list number 4, we're going to talk about, well, not talk about, but we're going to go through these vocabulary words. Okay, so let's do number 1. I'm going to read them out loud for you so that you can hear them and start studying them. These will be on your quiz next week, actually not next week, the week of Christmas break. So quiz 4 will be on December 16th, Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday, December 16th will be our quiz over this list. So let's go ahead and start it today. Number 1 is belligerence. This is revealing hostility and a readiness to fight. Number 2, cadence. This is an intonation of the voice. Measured movement, such as in music or writing. That's a cadence. Number 3, a clemency. This is mercy in the exercise of authority or power. Leniency towards an offender or enemy. Number 4, dirge. That is a funeral song or lament, any song or poem expressing mourning. Frugality, this is the quality of being thrifty, not spending or using unnecessarily. And then hiatus, which is a break or interruption in something, a gap or a pause. Okay? So tonight for homework, I know it is Wednesday, but there's no church tonight in person. And it's not due tomorrow. It's due whenever you guys come back. So tonight is 1 through 6, 2 times your vocab and your definitions. Okay, so that is from list 4. That will be due when you come back to school. You can just turn that in. So 1 through 6. Okay, that is classwork or homework or whatever you want to call it. Okay. In your workbook, your handbook, it's page number 51. Okay, hi guys. Hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving break. I see Jake, Kylie, Grace, Emma, Esther, Jaylene, Tori, Noah, Christian, Victoria, Christian Cormel, and Ellie. So welcome. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving break. Go ahead and turn to page number 51 in your handbook. Over that we just had a quiz over that, or a test over that a few weeks ago. So good job on that. But we do have a review test coming up. Actually, no, we don't have a review test in grammar, so we're good, but we're in agreement that we're about to. So go ahead, turn to page number 51 Today we're going to talk about subject and verb agreement. And basically, agreement is where everything goes together and makes sense with subjects and verbs. Okay? So let's do subject and verb agreement. That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so let's talk about verb agreement. Look at 9.1, okay? The verb of a sentence must agree with its subject in number. So a lot of the things that we're going to talk about in this section make sense with number, make sense with different subjects that you may have. For instance, with number, if you have 2 or more people, you need to choose the verb that goes with 2 or more people. Whereas, so for example, if it's just me, I am in this classroom. Okay, am is the single verb that goes with single subject. Okay, I wouldn't say I are in this classroom. Are is the plural verb form with they or 2 or more people. So they are or we are. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm talking about with subject and verb agreement. Okay, so 9.1, they have to agree with its subject in number. 9.2, singular subjects take singular verbs, plural subjects take plural verbs. That's kind of self-explanatory. Okay, look at your example. The boy works hard. The boys work hard. Okay, so nouns ending in S are usually plural, obviously. Okay, so a lot of the S's make things plural. Verbs ending in S, make sure you guys know the differences between this. Verbs ending in S are usually singular. So that's kind of confusing, so make sure that you know the differences between those. Verbs usually ending in S go with a singular subject. Nouns ending in S are usually plural. So those are kind of confusing. Make sure that you know that one. That's 9.2, okay? 9.3, the number of a subject is not usually affected by phrases between the subject and the verb. So for example, if I have a single subject, okay, the row, if you look at your example, that's a single subject, but notice how it's interrupted with a phrase of bushes. And notice how bushes is plural, okay? But my subject is singular, so I would still choose a singular verb. Hopefully that makes sense. Look at 9.4 on page 52, okay? 9.4, the verb agrees with the subject, not the predicate nominative, okay? The stakes were the biggest expense. Okay, notice how expense is single, but that's the predicate nominative. Stakes is plural, therefore we would use a plural verb, okay? Hopefully this kind of is making it's pretty logical, I think. If there's a single subject, you should choose a single verb. If there's a plural subject, you choose a plural verb. That's kind of the basis of this section, but this section is kind of warning you of what maybe it could be a little confusing at times. So one, we need to make sure that your verbs are matching up with your subject, even if there is a phrase in between. If you guys look at the very top on page 52, it's kind of talking about the previous one. If there's a phrase in between the subject and the verb, it says, Coach Brock, together with his players, is leaving for the tournament. Okay, so notice how obviously Coach Brock, it's a single subject. Together with his players, that's kind of a plural group, obviously players. But since Coach Brock is the subject, I would need to choose a singular subject. So that's why I would still be choosing the word is. Okay? The next one, the stereo or stereo. Okay, I don't know who says stereo, but stereo, including CD changer and speakers. The CD changer and speakers are 2, okay? However, stereo is the subject, therefore I would use one singular verb. That's why I would do was, okay, not were. Okay? That is kind of subject of verb agreement. What page are we on? Sorry, I was looking for my book. We are on page number 52, Christian, in our handbook. Okay, page 52. 9.5, if a sentence asks a question or begins with the word there or here, you must be careful to locate the subject and make the verb agree with it. Okay, we kind of talked about this earlier. The words there and here are rarely subjects. So the words there and here will not be my subjects. I don't want to be looking for a verb that's matching up with the words there or here because those are not subjects, okay? If it's asking a question, you need to look for your subject in order to match up your verb. For example, what is the title of your project? Okay, title is my subject. Notice how that's one or singular. I wouldn't say what are the title of your project. Okay, are would go with two or more. That's a plural verb. So is singular. Therefore, title, it would match up with title because title is singular. Okay. Look at the words there and here. There are 35 pages. Okay, pages is plural, therefore are needs to be plural. My verb is plural. Okay, same thing with the next one. Here are the ingredients for the recipe. Okay, here are the ingredients. Ingredients is my subject. Ingredients is plural. That means there's more than one. So I need to choose a plural verb. So ingredients are. Okay, that's kind of what we're just doing here is making sure the subjects and the verb match up. Okay, titles, they are usually singular even if they're in plural form. Okay, so make sure you guys watch that. Look at your example. Pickwick Papers. Notice how the words papers is plural, but Pickwick Papers is one novel, therefore it is singular. That's why the word is chosen. Okay, the Massacre of Innocence. Notice how the Massacre of Innocence would be referring to a bunch of massacres of a bunch of innocent people, but since it's one book, okay, it is one or a single verb. Okay, General Motors. Okay, General Motors. Motors obviously is a plural word, but General Motors is one company. So it is a huge corporation. Is my singular verb. Same thing with Grand Rapids. Mr. Coral actually has family that lives in Grand Rapids. So Grand Rapids is one place. Therefore, I would use a singular verb. Even though rapids is a plural word, titles of works of arts, organizations, countries, they're usually singular even if they look plural in form. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. 9.7, the following words are usually singular even though they're in plural form. Mumps, measles, rickets, molasses, news, stamina. Okay, measles was is a singular verb. Remember, verbs that end in S are usually singular. Okay, rickets is, even though rickets is a disease, it's like one disease. That's why it is singular. Okay, even though it looks like it's plural because there's an S on the end, it's singular because it's one disease. Hopefully this is making sense. I'm just looking to see if you guys have any comments. So if you see me looking over there, it's just looking to see if you guys have any questions. Okay. Collective nouns, we are in 9.8. Okay, collective nouns are basically nouns that are a group of things, but it's used as one. Okay, so for example, a team. Okay, it's one team, but obviously there's a bunch of players on the team. Okay, but team is used as a collective noun. Okay, same thing with class. Okay, it's one class, but there are students within the class. It's the group together, okay? That is a collective noun. Collective nouns may be either singular or plural, okay? A collective noun is singular when the group is thought of as a unit, okay? So if I were to say the class is at home, okay? The class is one unit. That's why I would use one or a singular verb, okay? But if I would say a collective noun is plural when the group is thought of individuals acting separately, okay? Look at your examples. The jury has been dismissed, okay? That's talking about the jury as a whole, okay? But when it's talking about jury as individual people, it's saying they were unable to agree among themselves, talking about the people in individually. That's why were is used, and that's a plural verb. So look at your notes. A collective noun can, of course, take a plural form to refer to more than one group. Then obviously that would be plural. So classes, families, that's all plural, okay? Look at 9.9. Expressions stating amounts may be either singular or plural. This is basically fractions, measurements, money, time. They can be either singular or plural. So if you're referring to one thing, that's singular, obviously. If you're referring to a bunch of money, a bunch of fractions, that is plural. Okay, so look at our examples. They are plural when it's kind of regarded as separate units, obviously. So 2/3 of milk was spilled on the floor. So obviously you're not referring to milk as individual parts. So that would be a singular 2/3, okay? Was spilled. Was is a singular verb, okay? Remember this, 2/3 of the peanuts were gone. You can count individual peanuts, therefore 2/3 is plural. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Look at your next example. $6 for a hamburger is expensive. Okay, $6 is talking about one price for a hamburger. That's why it is expensive. Okay, $6 would be plural when you can separate those dollars. Okay, look at $6 were placed in separate envelopes and distributed to the children. Okay, this is saying 6 individual dollars were placed in separate envelopes. Okay, so with this case, you probably would just have to read it in the sentence to know the differences between the measurements. Okay, so look at 9.10, page 53. Words that end in ICS may be singular or plural depending on their meaning. Okay, so when words that end in ICS refer to maybe a course of study or to a science, then they are considered singular. Okay, so civics, dramatics, mathematics, ethics, it's a course or like a class. Okay, all of that is singular. Obviously, mathematics, it's not plural when you're referring to a class. It's one class. But when it does not refer, when words ending in ICS do not end in, or do not refer to a study or to a science, they can be considered plural. Okay, sometimes they refer to qualities, behavior, physical activity. Okay, you guys see economics were responsible for business success. Okay, economics would be singular if it's a class, but notice how this is plural because it's referring to all the economics responsible for the business success. Okay, same thing with gymnastics. Okay, gymnastics are performed before large audiences now. Gymnastics is obviously more than one move. That's why it is plural. Okay? And then ethics. Notice how ethics, if it's referring to a class or a science, it's the science of human conduct, then that would be singular. It's one thing, ethics is. But if you're talking about the actual interactions, ethics are not what they should be. Okay? Ethics is plural in that case. We are in 9.10, letter B, the examples, if you don't know where we are. Okay? Ethics, when it's referring to a course of study or a science is singular. If it's not referring to a course or a class or a science, they are considered plural. So hopefully we can get the differences between those, okay? 9.11, we're almost done. We just have one more page with this, and then we're going to practice it, okay? 9.11, compound subjects joined by the word and take a plural verb, okay? So these are kind of self-explanatory. If you say Jack and Jill, obviously it's two people, therefore it is compound or plural, okay? Jack and Joe were here today. Okay, sometimes, look at your note, subjects joined by the word and refer to only one person or are considered as one thing. Then you would use a singular verb in this situation, okay? So that would only be, in this case, if it's a singular with joined by the word and, that means it's referring to the same person. So if you guys look at your example, our quarterback and team captain is Jared Johnson, okay? Normally, if you're referring to two people, our quarterback and our team captain are this person and this person. However, in this case, it's just one guy, Jared Johnson. Therefore, quarterback and team captain is singular, okay? Same thing with spaghetti and meatballs, okay? Spaghetti and meatballs is a delightful meal. Spaghetti and meatballs is one dish, okay? That's why it's singular, okay? You don't just say spaghetti and meatballs separately are delightful meals, okay? If you're referring to them separately, then you would join them or do them as plural. But normally spaghetti and meatballs is one dish. That's why it is a singular verb, okay? 9.12, when a compound subject is joined by the words or, nor, either or, neither nor, the verb agrees with the nearer subject. So basically, if this happens when there's two subjects, okay, look at your example. Either her helpers, that's plural, or the librarian, that's one, is there to assist you. Notice how the verb is a singular verb, okay? So in this case, it's taking on the nearest subject to it. If there are either or neither nor, the verb would take on the nearest or the closest subject, okay? Then if you switch them, either librarian, notice how that's still one, or her helpers, okay, that's more than one, are there to assist you. So the verb just kind of takes after the nearest subject in sentences that have the words either or, neither nor, different things like that, okay? Page 54, almost done, guys, almost done. Page 54, 9.13, indefinite pronouns, okay? Just any indefinite pronoun are singular and take a singular verb. So the words each, either, neither, one, everyone, everybody, no one, nobody, anyone, anybody, someone or somebody, okay? All of those are indefinite pronouns, but all of those are considered singular. So then they would take on a singular verb. So I would say everyone is, okay? I wouldn't say everyone are. Are is a plural verb. I would say everyone is. Same thing with each. Each was taken on a tour, not were taken. Each is singular, okay? And same thing with neither. Neither of the contestants was well prepared. Even though contestants is plural, that's part of a phrase, so I'm not looking at the word contestants. Neither is my subject. It's an indefinite pronoun, so I would have to choose the singular verb, okay? Then look at 9.14. Indefinite pronouns are plural and take a plural verb. So both, few, several, and many. So that list of indefinite pronouns, that's singular, okay? Then this list of indefinite pronouns is plural. So both, few, several, and many. Those are plural pronouns, and they would take a plural verb, okay? 9.15, these indefinite pronouns may be either singular or plural. So 9.13, 9.14, and 9.15, you kind of want to know the differences or just kind of read through the list so that you could know the differences if they're singular or plural, okay? In 9.15, to determine whether these words some, any, none, all, or most are singular or plural, you need to look at the context of the sentence, okay? For example, some of the harvest was completed by November. Okay, notice how harvest is one thing, therefore I would choose the singular verb. Okay, some of the crops. Crops you can count. It's kind of like the milk and the peanuts. Okay, milk you can't count the individual particles of milk, okay, or the liquid of milk, but you can count the peanuts. Okay, same thing with this. Harvest is kind of a collective thing, just like the milk. Crops, you can count the individual crops, so that's why I would choose the word were. Okay, I would choose the plural form. Okay, all of the land was cultivated. You can't count the individual land of cultivation by itself. Okay, so that's why it would be referred to as one thing, all of the land. Okay, but if it's all of the seeds, even though it would take forever, I could count the seeds, therefore I would choose the word were. Okay, that's the plural form of the verb. Okay, 9.16, doesn't, isn't, wasn't, all of those are singular and must be used with singular subjects. Don't, aren't, weren't, those are all plural and must be used with plural subjects. Okay? Notice this, okay? The exception obviously would be the word I. I would say I don't. Okay, that's just an exception. It usually takes on the plural form of the verb and you takes on the plural form of the verb. So you don't, I don't. I'm not going to say I doesn't or you doesn't. Okay? Those are just, or I'm not going to say I aren't. Okay? It's just the exception of the plural form. Okay? Look at this. He don't play football anymore. Okay, obviously he is a singular subject. Don't is a plural verb, so I would not choose those together. I would do he doesn't play football. Okay, same thing. It don't matter to him. Okay, it doesn't matter to him. Okay, it is, it don't is incorrect. It doesn't is the correct form. Okay, and then the last one, 9.17. In the expressions like one of those who, one of those which, and one of those that, we have to look at the pronouns who, which, and that, okay? They kind of refer to the plural object of, okay? So look at this, one of those who, okay? I'm not exactly looking at or one, the word one, I'm actually kind of looking at the word who, okay? For your example, she is one of the girls who love competition. Okay, I wouldn't say who loves competition. Okay, girls love, not girls loves. Okay, same thing with the word or the second one. This is one of those assignments that seem impossible. Okay, of those assignments that seem impossible, this is the one. This is basically referring to the word assignments. Okay, so I would look at the word assignments and say, oh, that is plural. I would have to choose a plural verb. Same thing with the girls. Okay, girls, that's a plural verb, or subject, so I need to choose a plural verb. Okay, that's when you're talking about those expressions. Okay, so that is sections 9.1 to 9.17. Okay, so let's go ahead and look in our book, in our workbook. I actually can't find my workbook, so here's an extra one. Go ahead and turn to page number 18. Page number 18, section 9, agreement. Okay, we just learned about subject and verb agreement. Okay, so now you would underline the subject. We kind of already knew how to do this. The subject is basically the part of the sentence where something is said. then you underline the correct verb in the parentheses. So it's going to give you 2 verbs. You need to choose the right one, okay? So look at your number 1, okay? Neither human plaudits nor human censure is or are to be taken as the test of truth, okay? It's a really random statement, but you have to look, remember with the words neither and nor, you have to look at the closest subject, okay? So human censure, you have to look at it if it's something collective that's used as one or if it's an individual thing. And in this case, you can't count individual human censure, so therefore I would choose the singular verb, which is, okay? Neither human plaudits nor human censure is to be taken as the test of truth, okay? Number 2, the silent influence of books is or are a mighty power in the world, okay? So number 2, we need to find my subject. I need to underline influence. Okay, that's my subject. Influence is or are, okay? Even though books is plural, I need to look at my subject in this case. Influence, can you count individual influence, or can you count the concept of influence individually? No, you cannot. So therefore, influence is one whole thing, and I would use my singular verb, okay? So the silent influence of books is a mighty power in the world. Influence is a mighty power, okay? Let's do number 3. Measles often results in damage to the eyes, okay? We need to underline your subject, okay, which would be measles. That's what this whole sentence is about. Then I need to look at my verb, measles. Okay, I have to remember my rule. Even though it looks plural, it's a disease, measles, obviously. Measles is a plural word form, but since it's one disease, I have to choose my one singular verb, okay? So then it would be results, okay? So it'd be results. All right? And that is the end of the class. The bell just rang, but go ahead and do the rest of exercise 36. We will go over that tomorrow, okay? If there are any questions, please ask, but hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving break, and we will see you guys tomorrow online. Hopefully we'll be back in class next week, okay? See you guys later.